Hello, darlings. I am Cassandra. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming. In this video, I am going to do a product review for the Conjure's Halo candle by, how do I pronounce her name? I think, Lala. Make sure. You know, I can always get it in focus, child, before. Here we go. Just want you to see it. It's by Lala Inuti Ahari. Her candle is called Halo, and the name of her company is the Conjure.com. So I'm going to do a review for this candle. Now, as you will see, darling, I have burned most of this candle out. It smells absolutely amazing. A lot of flowers. Now, I do recommend that you burn it in a safe place, because the fire was just like, I don't think I've ever seen a fire this big. It was just, has a lot of herbs and I don't know what's all in here, child. I don't. But all I know is that when I first burned it, it was a really huge fire. I like to place it on the stove where I do some other work as well. Long story short, okay, I burned this candle and I cried myself to sleep, child. I cried myself to sleep. I don't even know why I cried myself to sleep. All I know is that at some point throughout the day, I started to feel in a melancholy, reflective mood. Now, what is interesting about this melancholy, reflective mood is that night I cried myself to sleep and I dreamt about my first broken heart, my first boyfriend. Well, I don't think he was ever my boyfriend. See, that's the issue. He was never my boyfriend, and I loved him. I loved him. You know, I'm the type of person, I love hard, I love deep, and I was like 15, 16, and he was in my French class at Cody High School in Detroit, which Cody High School no longer exists. And so he was in my French class. He sat in front of me, and the teacher said that when you spoke in French, you had to turn around and say it to the person behind you, and so forth. So I only remember one thing. I learned comment vous appelez-vous, and comment vous appelez-vous means what do you call yourself? Like, it is their way of asking what is your name. And he turned around and he said to me, comment vous appelez-vous, and his voice was so deep, and I was like, child, I fell in love. I fell in love that day in 9th grade in my French class. And I think he was in the 11th grade. Child, he wore this navy blue peacock, and he had like these hazel brown eyes, and he smelled like Brut cologne and weed, child. Yes, he did. And I was in love. And whenever the teacher would play these French movies, we would make out in the back of the classroom. Like, this was my first like tongue kiss, you know what I'm saying? It's my first kiss, and I'm just, Lord knows I was in love with this guy. And I think the song You Can't Keep Running In, the Gap Band, Kim Carnes' I Miss You Tonight, her song was really big. I think it was on her album Mistaken Identity. But anyway, I am so in love with this kid, and in my mind, it was unrequited love. Like, he didn't really like me as much as I liked him. It was my first everything, my first, you know what I mean? Like, where it was voluntary. And I had told myself that he just never thought that I was good enough for him, and I told myself these stories of that the reason he didn't like me was because, I was dark-skinned, and I just, in my mind, and then the letters that I wrote to my best friend from 9th grade is, I don't understand why he doesn't love me. Now, let me tell you about this dream I had after burning my Halo candle by the Conjure. Child, the entire night I dreamt about, he asked me on a date, and this is true, and to go roller skating, but my parents were very strict, and I was afraid to ask them if I could go. So I stood him up, and I remember that day he called me and I didn't answer the phone because I never asked my parents. My parents may have let me go, but I was too afraid to ask. So he called the entire day, and I never picked up the phone. And I would look at the phone and I would just think, oh my God, because we had caller ID, and I would think, oh my God, I can't tell him that I didn't even ask my mother. So after that, I would see him, and it was just really awkward between us. And Charles, I would call his house and play on his phone. Like, I remember dialing his number, and when he would answer, I would just hang up. Like, my heart would just start racing, and I would have these butterflies in my stomach, and I just couldn't breathe. And whenever I would see him, it was just too much. It was just too much, you know what I mean? So in my dream, I thought about the time that the times we were together and walking home from school together, and his navy blue peacock coat or sailor coat, I don't know what you call it, you know what I mean? The collar came up and it was navy blue, and I don't know, I started thinking about, when I woke up from this dream, and it was a dream about what really happened in high school, this guy really did like me, but I couldn't see it. And I think when we are young, we don't really know what we're supposed to do in a relationship. Like, we're not sure, like, we're young. Like, I'm 15, 16, like, do you get married? Of course not. Do we, how often do you go on a date? I mean, you're just a kid. So, because the relationship did not have clearly defined roles and a clearly defined, expectations of what it means to be in love at 16 or 15. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, it just became this long story of nobody loving me, nobody liking me because I'm dark. He didn't like me back. He just wanted me for one thing. And when I had that dream, I thought about all the wonderful things that he had said to me. There was no indication that he didn't like me. It's just that I was afraid to, I didn't think my parents would let me date. I didn't know, when people say go together, when you're a kid, what does that mean? When you're a teenager, does that mean you talk on the phone? Does it mean you go to the movies together every Friday? Like, I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? So after this dream, I wake up and I'm thinking about this whole time and this whole energy that's surrounding him, all of the letters that I wrote about, about him not liking me and me feeling like, I'm just ugly, and all of these horrible things that I had told myself for, like over 40 years now. Over 40 years, I've just been lying to myself. Isn't that deep? 40 years of just thinking, just writing this story, having this story in my head of unrequited love of a boy who never liked me back, just to cry myself to sleep, dream about what actually happened, see it from the perspective of, a woman who is deeply in her middle-aged woman. You know what I'm saying? To see it through the lens of truth. And I just started crying again, but it was happy tears. It was happy tears of, he actually liked me. You know what I mean? And just thinking about what could my life have been like if I had gone through my life actually telling a story of my first love as a person who really liked me, but because we were young, we couldn't connect. And I was afraid to, ask my parents to go on a date with him. And I was too afraid to really, sometimes he would call. My heart would beat so fast, so I could barely pick up the phone. And I was just so I just had the biggest crush on him. But when I think back truthfully, he had a crush on me too, and he really liked me. And I think burning this candle, now I know you might say, well, this candle is supposed to release anxiety and depression, clear away blockages, cleanse your vibration. It's a candle that's supposed to cleanse like your environment, cleanse your spirit, cleanse your mind, raise your vibration. You know, it's so interesting. You know what I love about these candles, child? In my mind, when I burn this candle, you know, this what do you call it, halo? I don't even know how I'm just pretending to forget it. When I burn this candle, in my mind, it's like you have an idea, like, oh, this is going to raise my vibration, and this is what's going to happen, and this is how life is going to be, and everything is going to be, you know, I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea that it would clear a blockage of my self-concept as this unlikable, unlovable, unattractive young woman that nobody liked. And the first guy that I really liked, he broke my heart because he didn't like me. That was the story that I had told myself my whole life up until I burned this candle 2 days ago. And I dreamt about what really happened that I had just blocked. And then I woke up and I thought about all those wonderful things. And then I cried again, of course. But this time it was happy tears. And I was also thinking about what my life would have been like if I thought of myself as a girl that boys actually liked, as a girl who was actually attractive, or that, you know, that there was somebody for me. But to have this story of your first heartbreak as unrequited love with a boy who never loved you back, I think that shaped so many of my decisions. It shaped my self-concept, and it was just built around misunderstanding. So my suggestion would be, child, if you are contemplating buying this candle, first of all, I'm going to tell you, these candles, the Conjure, their candles are expensive, but they have a lot of sales. This candle was $69. $69. But in my opinion, it was worth every penny. To me, to literally, and just to be honest, I do a lot of clearing. I do a lot of yoga breaths. I use a lot of raising, clearing the vibration. I make my own candles. But the thing I like about bringing in other energy is that sometimes you can't solve a problem from the same mindset of which it was created. So I'm making the candles, and maybe I can only raise my consciousness so far. So the smell, amazing. It's beautiful. Make sure you burn it in a safe place. With my personal experience, I had an emotional breakthrough, emotional breakdown, and it was just a wonderful experience. I didn't want to do a unboxing because you don't even know. I don't want to come here and say, oh, look, I opened up the candle, see? No, I want to tell you what happened. You know what I'm saying? I feel like to honestly look at myself in another way has been just a beautiful experience. It has put me in the best mood. I feel lighter. I find myself smiling throughout the day, just really thinking like, wow, I'm not, this picture that I have painted of being unlikable is not even true. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that with young girls, there are so many songs about heartbreak, and there's so much in our culture that, that supports this, oh, he broke my heart. You know what I'm saying? So the music and the culture and the girlfriend talk, it's all about bonding over some boy who doesn't love you back. But you don't realize that it shapes your choices and your relationships and how you see yourself, and then you don't understand why you have this block around your heart that you're not even aware of. So long story short, I give this candle 100 out of 10. I mean, it's really amazing. The smell is good. Make sure you burn it in a safe place. It's expensive, but to me, ignorance, and it's more expensive. You know what I'm saying? I feel like being stuck is more expensive. I think it's best to go in with, I don't know, you know, I don't like telling people what to do. I'm just gonna say I had no expectations on their website. They suggest that you burn halo before you burn any of the other candles. These women are gorgeous. Lala Inuti Ahari. Oh my God, this woman is gorgeous. She has 3 daughters who are gorgeous. And then I found the reviews on YouTube and I tried them, and I looked at her and how she presents herself, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try this candle. But the thing I want to say is, I think it's best not to have any expectations. Because you might go in thinking, you know, I'm going to really clear this block about money, or I'm going to really clear this block about this. And that may be a block that may not be the block that Spirit wants you to unblock it. It may not be the block that's loose yet. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I feel like you should burn it with clear intention, I don't know, for me, I just burned it out of curiosity, and I just wanted to see what would happen, and I knew it was a candle moving through me, and I'm so happy to finally be able to see what happened to me when I was 15 and 16, and to see that this boy actually loved me back, and that for me to have this dream about this is really what happened, and to tell the truth to myself, like yeah, this is really what happened. So anyway, guys, this candle is amazing. $69. Smells good. You know, for me, like I said, people might say it's pricey, but counseling is pricey, and keep seeing the world in the same way is even more expensive, and making dumb mistakes is even 10 times more expensive than that. So to me, it's about treating your consciousness, your spiritual and emotional well-being, you know, as if it is priceless. Thank you so much for watching.